It's him!
Now, where'd you get that brand, boy?
Oh, hey folks, this is Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're watching WGS-TV. Tough guy.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFXTV. I'm the WrestleGamer. Delvin Boudreaux got quite a few people to introduce you to. First off, he is the host of Hardcore Wrestling Radio, which can be heard exclusively over on Spreaker.com/HWR Media and YouTube.com/HWR Show. He is the Illuminous one, the Shining Star, Rick Starr. Rick, how you shining?
I'm shining pretty good, Billy. Thanks for having me.
He is our resident music mogul over on YouTube.com/Lance Moss TV. He is the incomparable Lance Moss. Lance, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
He's over on the hood on Instagib. He's the Bay Area MVP, known as Will. Will, sup?
Someone's about to get KO'd in their face.
Hopefully it's not me. And ladies and gentlemen, introducing our special guest reviewer on this week's Monday Night Raw review from Traditional Championship Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Pitts. Jason, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, as we said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the go-home show for SummerSlam this year from Monday Night Raw. A lot of interesting things to talk about. And for once on a Monday Night Raw, we actually open up with a match instead of the usual promo. So it's a different kind of a spiel for Monday Night Raw this week, especially opening up, immediately going into a match like that. It's not like it's something we see every time and every week on Monday Night Raw. But apparently it's now a follow-up from Wade Barrett and Daniel Bryan. And with a little bit of a wrinkle to it, with Brad Maddox being the special guest referee, you kind of figured something was up with that. You kind of figured that, the looming screw job was coming, and lo and behold, it happened. Daniel Bryan was doing his usual kick spots on Wade Barrett, and Wade Barrett ducks one of them, rolls him up for the pin, and Brad Maddox does a fast count on Daniel Bryan, therefore screwing him out of the match. So I gotta see, in essence, it was an okay way to start off the go-home show for Monday Night Raw, but with the looming possibility of Brad Maddox putting the screws to Daniel Bryan, of that happening did happen. I gotta say it took a little bit of the thunder out of it, but I'm still gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was a good opening for Raw. Now we go to the next match. We have the Raw Money in the Bank winner, which is, well, I'll say Raw, but All-Star Money in the Bank winner Randy Orton, and the Rising Star Money in the Bank winner Damien, Sandow, who now fancies his briefcases after Hershey chocolate bars in a match. And we had Cody Rhodes on commentary. Very decent match. Damien Sandow also took the added protection of handcuffing his chocolate briefcase to Damien Sandow. And I will say props to Cody Rhodes, because he even mentioned it on commentary about how his briefcase looks like a giant bar of chocolate. Normally you don't see WWE guys, bringing up stuff that internet fans have said, but that's what he did, and I'll give props to Cody Rhodes for that. The finish of the match came, Damien Sandow was being distracted by Cody Rhodes, who was tugging at the chocolate briefcase, and out of nowhere, Randy Orton, boom, hits the RKO, gets the victory, and people keep wondering, Rick, when they look at this and you see, they're really building up a good feud between Damien Sandow and Cody Rhodes, but I think a lot of people are still questioning the reasons as to why WWE won't make this a Money in the Bank ladder match.
Well, I think they don't really need to, because for the obvious reasons is that if they're going to do that, it would be unprecedented, and I don't think it's really needed, because let's face it, it's just, it would kind of steal the thunder away from the Money in the Bank. If they do that one time, they're gonna have to do that another time, and then every other time. So I think what we're going to see is probably we're going to see Damien Sandow win the title, and then later on down the road, we're going to see Cody Rhodes take him on for the world title. That's what we're probably going to see somewhere down the line.
To me, that would make for a good title match. You know, it's something that really would spark my interest to see. But Rick, your score for this match would be?
The match itself was really excellent, and of course, with with Cody Rhodes getting involved, of course, Randy Orton with the RKO, I had to give it a solid 3 out of 5.
Up next, we had a mixed tag match, I guess, to kind of build up to the fact that Dolph Ziggler and Caitlyn will be taking on AJ Lee and Big E Langston. It's Big E and AJ taking on Natalya and the Great Khali. Now, for a mixed tag match, we only had the Divas involved, which was Natalya and AJ Lee. Now, I'm not complaining about that. Because AJ Lee and Natalya, wrestlers like them, like AJ Lee, like Caitlyn, like Natalya, they're kind of, when it comes to the wrestling, the in-ring aspect of it. And, I wasn't really disappointed to see that. However, Will, I gotta call out the referee for that major kind of, I gotta say, kind of a botch that the referee did, missing the first tap out of AJ when she was first trapped in the sharpshooter by Natalya. I mean, what do you think the referee was thinking? You thinking tap out and you think the match is still going to go on?
Billy, see, and this is why WWE referees don't get as much respect as they do. Of course that was a botch. I mean, he wasn't paying attention to the first tap out, like you said. And if I hear anything that this was part of Total Divas, needs to be slapped in the face directly. But yes, I mean, at least he got it right the second time. But the first time, come on, ref, you got to be professional. You got to see the match at all times. Forget the skin, forget the booze, forget the assets. You have a job to do.
Can I say something on this, Billy?
Sure, go
Go ahead, Jason.
I agree that the referee botched it, but the blame also should be on some of the blame should be on Natalya's shoulders. She should have held the hold until she heard the bell. That's my opinion on that. She let go and before the bell went off, and she should have held it until she heard the bell. So I think it's on both their shoulders that it happened.
I mean, he does bring up an interesting point, Will.
Yeah, I mean, just basically, share the blame. Everything not tame. I'll give the match a not so good 2.5, and I guess Jason seen something I didn't, but referees gotta call it. But Natalya, you're also responsible for it.
Yeah.
Well, out comes Vince McMahon next. Vince McMahon apparently shops now at the James E. Cornette warehouse for guys. Besides to call Brad Maddox out. I'm surprised nobody got that joke with the weird-ass outfit that Vince McMahon had on tonight on Monday Night Raw. Anyway, Brad Maddox...
Well, he wasn't carrying a racket.
Oh, yeah. But, anyway, Vince McMahon calls out Brad Maddox to kind of question his integrity in the earlier match. Brad Maddox denying that, he put the screws to him, that he was fair, he was impartial, and he asked that he would... for another chance for him to make it up to Vince McMahon by allowing him to be the special guest referee in the WWE Championship match at SummerSlam. Now, Vince McMahon asked him the same kind of set of questions. Will you be fair? Will you be impartial? Maddox was saying yes, yes, yes to all of that, basically being the new yes man, the new Stooges of Vince McMahon. If you guys remember that in the Attitude Era, the Stooges, Briscoe and Patterson. So apparently now he's Briscoe and Patterson reincarnated, and they're not even dead yet. But anyway, out comes Triple H before Vince McMahon could make the announcement of Brad Maddox being the special guest referee, and said that he agreed with Vince McMahon that we need a special guest referee who would be fair, would be impartial, who would not be intimidated by someone like Vince McMahon. And he said he doesn't believe it's Brad Maddox. He believes that he was talking about him, and using his authority as COO, Triple H inserted himself as the special guest referee in the WWE Championship match, and also then proceeds to put the pedigree to Brad Maddox, and that was pretty much the end of Maddox's night, Lance.
Yeah, even though personally, when he started going about who he thought it should have been, I was expecting him to say Shawn Michaels, but that's just me.
So your thoughts on this whole segment?
Well, I give it 3.75.
Okay. Up next, we had Kane and Titus O'Neil, which was obviously just a build for Kane and Bray Wyatt. They also explained a little bit about the Ring of Fire match, where it's basically, it's like an Inferno match, but it's not an Inferno match. It's basically, it takes place inside of an Inferno match, but the rules are different. Basically, it's to keep people out, keep them from interfering in the match. And my first initial reaction was, okay, so does a steel cage. Why can't they make this a steel cage match? But I guess maybe the fire gimmick suits Kane more, and I guess it kind of fits more into the character of what they're doing there. But as soon as the matchup is over, next you know, the lights go out, and here comes Bray Wyatt with the LED torchlight, which apparently needs to be blown out every freaking time he uses it. I'm not complaining about it. It's a unique gimmick, but the Wyatt family goes into their usual spots. He sits down on the rocking chair, blows out the lantern. Up come the lights. Kane is not there. Apparently, he's on the stage already. The Wyatt family starts to do their pose, and Kane sets off the pyro, and that's pretty much it for the build between Kane and Bray Wyatt. And Jason, I noticed that you were having some sort of issues with the Wyatt family gimmick, and especially as it pertains to what they've been doing now with Kane.
Actually, Kane is one of my favorite wrestling characters, and I'm excited about this feud because I think it could take him back to his roots and get away from some of the silly stuff that they've been doing with Daniel Bryan with him. My problem with the Wyatt family is I think it's kind of silly in their opening promo how he lights the lantern just to blow it out after he says we're here, and then they have these huge fireballs coming out of the ring post with Kane's entrance, but they can't have a real lantern with a little flame in it. I think that's kind of silly, but I think they could have worked on that entrance just a little bit more. But other than just little things like that, I think that the gimmick is very interesting. It's reminiscent of the Bradford family in the early days of TCW, like a year and a half ago. I don't know if you guys have looked at that, gone back in the archives a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I think that this feud could build and be something special. I give this segment a 3.5 out of 5.
Do you see any potential in the Ring of Fire match they got coming up at SummerSlam?
I wish that it was a classic Inferno match. I understand being PG why they are shying away from that, but I wish that they would have stuck to the original rules. But I think they can do some interesting things with the threat of one of them being caught on fire. I think they can do some interesting things with the other two Wyatt family members around ringside. I think it has the potential to be really interesting, but I think that I don't like that it's not the traditional Inferno match.
Well, up next we had the World Heavyweight Champion Alberto Del Rio and Kofi Kingston in action. Of course, Kofi Kingston just coming off the injured reserve list. He had a couple of good matches, I have to say, with Fandango of all people. But again, it takes two people to have a good match, guys and gals. You got to remember that. But Kofi Kingston and Del Rio both looked really good in this match. I really liked a lot of the spots, and the finish of the match, Kofi Kingston was going, I think, to that diving clothesline he does off the top rope. Del Rio counters it into a gut buster and then follows it up with the cross arm breaker and gets the submission victory. And of course, got to make your world heavyweight champion look good for the Go Home show. And of course, he still has yet another show to go with Friday Night SmackDown, of course, to possibly complete the build with his match against Christian at SummerSlam. Now, they did do a little bit backstage about, and Christian, I guess they're really trying to push this. If they want to give Christian a new shirt, it's got to have something to do with him always saying that he needs one more match. I don't know. It's something he did in his heel gimmick, and now they're really trying to stick it with him as maybe one of his catchphrases now. So, and again, it's a possibility. But anyway, Del Rio and Kofi Kingston, I really can't say anything bad about it. I thought it was a good match for both Del Rio and Kingston. And, of course, we still have the 20-man Battle Royal to come up to determine a new number one contender for the U.S. Heavyweight Champion, contender for it. But as far as this match goes, I got to go 4 out of 5. But up next, we had the Real Americans, of course, with Mr. Handlebars Mustache himself, Zeb Coulter, taking on the Usos. Zeb Coulter had some very interesting comments as it pertains to the state of California and it being set adrift and seceding from the United States, not by choice, as he would said. But I gotta say, Rick, for round 2 of Real Americans and the Usos, I gotta say both Usos, and I'm gonna say Cesaro looked good. I think Swagger was just there to be there. But other than that, I gotta say this was a pretty solid tag match. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I thought this was round 3. I thought this was the best of 3 series, the rubber band match, because they had said that 3 weeks ago that the Usos won, and then 2 weeks ago the Americans won.
Oh yeah,
so,
you know what? That's true.
Okay, I wasn't sure if I just wanted to but I mean it was a really great match, and I knew that the Real Americans pretty much started off just pounding on Jey Uso, and then of course he got the hot tag, and that's where things kind of just started to heat up a little bit. And then of course the Usos started to get the upper hand with their blind tag. When they start doing their tags, I don't know who's Jimmy or Jay's in. They could pretty much, if they wanted to do the twin magic, but they don't. They got the tag in, got a blind tag, 1, 2, 3, and rolls up Jack Swagger for the win.
Yeah, you also got to remember that Cesaro was up on the ring apron trying to cause the one who was on the top rope to fall, and the other Usos saw that and super kicked Cesaro right between the legs of his brother, getting him off the ring apron. I thought that was a freaking sweet spot by the Usos and Cesaro for that one. And in essence, like I said, it was a solid tag match. Rick, what would you score it?
I just have to give this one a 4 out of 5. It was a good one.
You want to talk about a solid segment. A segment that had more significance and more meaning than when they had MizTV and the Total Divas on there. By the way, Eva Maria, you might be hot, but I don't like you. Just like Oksana may have looks, but I don't like her. Just like Lily is hot, but I don't dislike her as much as Oksana. But it's getting to that point. Sorry, Jason, it's the truth. But
that's okay.
Right, always here on WGS-TV, we're always brutally honest on our reviews. But this segment right here with John Cena and Daniel Bryan on MizTV was indeed, I'm going to go out and say it right now, best segment of the night. The way to build your WWE Championship match, especially on your go-home show, on your flagship show of Cena and Daniel Bryan on Monday Night Raw. I gotta say, this was indeed one of the best, one of the highlights of the night for Monday Night Raw involving these two. Daniel Bryan proclaiming that the beard is here is a parody of John Cena's shirt, just like John Cena is a parody of wrestling. Cena got into I want to say this, though, to all you Cena haters out there who think they understand the wrestling industry when you don't, okay? If you would have booed when Cena was mentioning the Make-A-Wish kid And the fact that every time that he grants a wish to one of these kids, that he really transforms that kid and, gives him the courage to fight on this disease. If you would have booed him at that segment, what does that say about you people out there? That says a lot
Well, you know what?
about him.
It does, but you know what? Believe it or not, there was someone on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/hardcore wrestling radio. Who he's a Cena hater, true blue Cena hater, and his name's Tony Egan. He says, "Dude, I hate Cena, but his promo was, pardon my French, fucking awesome." And and I think that goes to show that his promo really touched a lot of people in different ways. A lot of people, because that promo probably was his best. He sat there and he spoke from his heart. You could see he was really emotional when he was speaking. That wasn't just a shoot. I think that was really a lot more emotional than it was kayfabe. I could be wrong.
Daniel
I'm
Bryan.
with Rick.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan also makes mention of a tradition in wrestling. He said wrestling in a sports entertainment show, and you know how Vince McMahon gets about that, about taking someone you don't like and slapping him in the face. And Bryan alludes to the fact that he feels that Cena does not deserve it, and I think that kind of set Cena off. And he said, "You know what? You don't think I deserve it?" And then he slaps Bryan in the face, and out comes Triple H to kind of separate the two, and then they get interrupted by Randy Orton, who's just standing on the staging area with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Rick, I'm sorry, Will, I gotta say, like, hands down, this was the highlight of the night. If you want a good, strong build into your WWE Championship match, they did it the right way with Cena and Daniel Bryan, wouldn't you say?
Yes, like an extra ingredient to that good dinner you'd have on the table. Yes, this is a 5-star segment. They both poured their hearts into the segment. I noticed they got a little bit out of hand here, but Cena made his point, Bryan made his point. The WWE Universe pretty much knows who wants to win this one, for those who watched the show and did their applause, whatnot. And then here comes Triple H, Mr. Peacemaker, trying to calm down both combatants before the pay-per-view. And then here comes the extra spice of the flavor. Orton holding up the case. He's saying in his mind, whoever wins, be careful. I'm going to be lurking. And yes, like I said, I'm going to rate this the perfect 5 stars. I think this Raw and this segment is going to make that SummerSlam match more for what it's hyped up to be at this moment.
Lance, has anyone really truly figured out why in the world we had a dance-off between Fandango and R-Truth?
I have no freaking clue. The only thing I can come up with is somebody said, okay, we're going to be done before 10 if somebody don't get out there. So Fandango and R-Truth, y'all go out there and kill some time or something. I don't know.
Well, up next would be the 20-man over-the-top battle royal to determine a new #1 contender to the United States Heavyweight Championship, which is being held by Dean Ambrose. There were a lot of good stars in there. The Usos were in there. The Real Americans were in there. Tons of funk. Fandango, R-Truth, Mark Henry, 3MB, the Great Khali. So it was a good set of stars. Kofi Kingston. Oh, look, I gotta mention the spot with Kofi Kingston on the outside. Jack Swagger tries to send him, and Cesaro's on the ring apron. He tries to backflip him over, and combined with the strength of Cesaro and Kingston, that Kingston was able to hold on to the body of Cesaro, and just hang on there without having his feet hit the floor. It was just kind of a testament to not only the strength and the conditioning of Antonio Cesaro, but the strength and conditioning of Kofi Kingston as well, because he's kind of like the new John Morrison of the WWE. He's just doing things that just boggles the imagination, and this is one of the pure reasons why I love battle royals, especially when Kofi Kingston is involved, because you never know what you're going to see out of the guy. You never know. But the final two, it came down. Well, it looked like at that time it was Mark Henry and Ryback, and apparently Rob Van Dam wasn't eliminated at that time. But it took those two to eliminate Ryback, and then it came down to Mark Henry and RVD. RVD's on the outside. Mark Henry makes the mistake of charging him. RVD low bridges the ropes. Mark Henry goes over the top rope. So therefore, your winner and number one contender for the United States title is Rob Van Dam, and he will take on Dean Ambrose at the SummerSlam pre-show. Jason, one thing I gotta say, not only having a panel of Natalya, Shawn Michaels, and I'm trying to think off the top of my head, who was the other one? That's
Booker.
Booker T, as your panel on the pre-show for SummerSlam, with the added attraction of the United States title match between Rob Van Dam and Dean Ambrose, kind of makes me want to push for this match to actually be on the main pay-per-view, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I agree. I think I think the pre-show idea concept that they started doing the last year or so is ridiculous. Especially, I mean, any title match should be on the pay-per-view first off, and with somebody like RVD who has the potential to steal the show, there's no reason why it shouldn't be on the pay-per-view. I agree with you 100%.
And plus the fact that he's working with Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley.
Yeah.
He's another great talent.
You're right. He's very impressive. He's a great talent, but he's also fairly new. I think he still has a lot to prove as far as he's new to being on TV. I mean, he's definitely on the right track to being a Hall of Famer, and he's got a lot of steam behind him. With the whole Shield thing, all three of them do. I do think that before we start putting them in the same league as RVD and John Cena and Randy Orton and all them, I think they got a little more time. They need some more time under their belt.
Mark Henry congratulates Rob Van Dam, and as he's doing that, the Shield's music hits. They come down to the ring, and they're trying to surround him, and then the Big Show's music hits, and I gotta say, I love the reaction of the Shield to the Big Show's music, especially with Seth Rollins mouthing the words "Oh shit" on the camera. I don't know if WWE will fine him for something like that, but I still thought that was like freaking hilarious, and that's one of the reasons why I love Seth Rollins. He's awesome out there as well. Roman Reigns I'm not too big on, but anyway. One thing I gotta really make mention of is, guys and gals, you gotta harken back to what was said earlier. I'll make a mention of it now. Earlier in the night, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns put out an open challenge to any tag team to come in and try to take the tag team titles at SummerSlam, and there is a very high probability, Rick, of that tag team being Big Show and Mark Henry. Rick, microphone.
Rick.
Microphone was off. Yep, sorry. Yeah, there was some talk about that. There was even talk a lot that he wasn't even going to show up until after SummerSlam, but apparently that might very well happen now. There was a lot of rumors. I'm glad to see him back. And now that they left that open title match, you never know. And I think it's time, having the Shield as titles. It's time for them. It's getting a little old. They need to switch the titles up, I think.
I want to go to Jason first. Jason, how would you rate the Battle Royal?
I'm a huge fan of Battle Royals. This one was really good. I'm like you. I love the Kofi Kingston spot. It reminded me of the Royal Rumble where John Morrison jumped on the barricade and then jumped back in the ring. It was really, really cool. I love stuff like that. I thought that they could have done a little bit more to keep Ryback looking strong. He didn't. This guy's supposed to be a monster, and he didn't really come off as a monster in this Rumble Riot like he should have. They did a good job of keeping Mark Henry strong. I think it was a good Rumble or good Battle Royal. A lot of people in there at the beginning, which is really fun to see. I would probably give it a 4.5 out of 5, I think.
And Rick, over to you. Your rating for the appearance of the Big Show after the Battle Royal was over and what was going on.
I definitely have to give it a 4. I mean, he looked great. The fans definitely got a big pop. I mean, just the whole reaction in general and just the aura was definitely huge. So, you can't get anything less than a 4 would be just an insult.
The finale of this week's Monday Night Raw would feature the supposed match where last week Brock Lesnar proclaimed to Paul Heyman for him to say something stupid for Heyman to challenge CM Punk. Now, Paul Heyman would get on the microphone and proclaim that to CM, like a lot of people, were saying that this is be a trap, and he actually admitted it, that it was going to be a trap, and the mastermind behind the trap was in fact Brock Lesnar, who came out to Pyro for the first time in quite some time. So I guess WWE, fancying that water, and possibly for the matchup upcoming at SummerSlam. Now they're gonna lay a trap out, and if Punk wanted to fight Paul Heyman, then it would have to be in a handicap match with him and Brock Lesnar taking on CM Punk. Now, would CM Punk stand for that? Would he be what Paul Heyman quoted, the stupid hero? No. CM Punk played it smart. He came up from behind to grab one of the cameras from the cameraman and just laid out Brock Lesnar with that camera, and then just laid him out again and knocked him on the outside and just took it to Brock Lesnar. And then CM Punk, noticing that Paul Heyman was distracted with Brock Lesnar being injured on the outside, Paul Heyman gave us his best impersonation of Colonel Robert Parker from War Games from so many years ago. The only difference is that Paul Heyman wasn't wearing all white. If you guys want to understand that reference, be sure you check out the review of that we're going to be doing a little bit later of War Games, the DVD set. We'll talk about that incident on the review. So if you want to understand that reference, you got to check out that review. But he ends up running for his life, and then out comes Curtis Axel to kind of save the day, who ends up just getting abused and mauled by CM Punk, which ends with the go to sleep delivered to Curtis Axel on the staging area, and that's pretty much how they conclude the go home show for Monday Night Raw. And I gotta say, Will, they had to do something to make the CM Punk look strong in the storyline, because everything they've done, up until now between CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, it was always Lesnar on top. Lesnar being the beast, Lesnar dominating and attacking CM Punk. They had to do something different for the go home show to kind of make CM Punk seem significant in this storyline. Wouldn't you agree?
This was pure genius on Punk's part. Like you said, they gave Lesnar 3-1 edge on Punk when it came to their build-up for their match at SummerSlam. And I don't know what happened up on stage. I kind of missed that part. But it seemed like Punk prevailed, and Lesnar looked very, very lost. He was heavy breathing. He looked like he got knocked out by a tank, but we don't know Punk in with the camera. That was funny. But I like the build-up, though, so, Punk at least has a point and an edge going into this match. Now, I think the funniest spot is when he grabbed Curtis Axel. I couldn't stop laughing. I just couldn't. It was just pure, utter laughter. I'll give this one a 4.5. I wouldn't give it a perfect 5, but the thing is, when Brock Lesnar was on the mat, heavy breathing, he looked like a heavy duck in the face, but I'll give it a 4.5 overall, and Punk had the edge.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to find out everyone's picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw. And this week, the best segment, I have to go with a segment for my best pick this week, guys and gals, and it's the MizTV segment with John Cena and Daniel Bryan. I gotta say, that was a major build and a great way to finish the build-up for the SummerSlam match between John Cena and Daniel Bryan. It was a great promo. Both guys look really great. I still can't stand Cena haters. For the life of me, they're just hating on Cena just to hate. And they think they understand the wrestling industry when they're only 13 freaking years old. So, but I gotta say, hands down, best segment of the night is definitely MizTV featuring John Cena and Daniel Bryan. Worst segment, again, you hear me say that segment because I really don't consider it a match, was the freaking Fandango R-Truth dance-off. What was the point other than it being a filler? There was no point at all. And by the way, what poor animal did Fandango murder to make that jacket he was wearing? Please, I would like to be well informed, so Peter would probably like to know about that as well. But again, the worst segment of the night is the Fandango R-Truth dance-off. I'm sorry, guys, but I got, like I said, I'm always honest on these reviews, and I have to be honest. I hated the dance-off. Let's start with Rick. Rick, it's time to find out your picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week.
Well, the best best segments, I'm a little bit of a tie-off between. Definitely, the MizTV was definitely the best, but I definitely also have to say the ending segment was also a great segment. I'm sorry, seeing Curtis Axel getting a knee to his face was also a great night for me. So I'm gonna put those at a tie. But the ending, the worst. Sorry, yeah. That R-Truth Fandango was pretty hard to watch, so there it is for me. Overall score for me, I definitely have to give the show a 4 out of 5.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to Will next as we get not only his overall score, but his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week.
All right, best segment, of course. I'm gonna jump on the John Cena, Daniel Bryan segment bandwagon here because, like I stated, you both poured their hearts into it. It's a good build-up, and with Orton being the secret spice towards the match, there may be a cash in. There's no guarantees, ladies and gentlemen, but it seems like he's lurking out at a hit he may. Worst segment: ballroom dancing versus hip-hop dancing. Where in the hell does it illuminate the sports entertainment? It didn't set well with me at all.
It's the entertainment part.
Or lack thereof.
Ballroom dancing versus hip hop. There's MTV and VH1 for that.
Actually, what the hell?
And overall score, 4 out of 5.
Well, speaking of music, our music mogul is up next, Lance Moss, as we get not only his overall score for Monday Night Raw, but his picks for best and worst match or segment for Monday Night Raw this week.
As somebody who honestly is not a fan of Cena, I can't believe I'm saying this, but best segment of the night, MizTV. And honestly, worst, I gotta go with the consensus, but the Fandango versus R-Truth, which Fandango needs to return his ring jacket to Graceland so they can put the material back on the wall. And my score, 4 out of 5.
And ladies and gentlemen, finally, our guest from Traditional Championship Wrestling, Jason Pitts, as we get not only his overall score for Monday Night Raw, but his picks for best and worst match or segment of Monday Night Raw this week.
I agree with everyone else. The best segment was definitely the Cena Bryan face-off on MizTV. I think this segment sold SummerSlam along with the feud between Brock Lesnar and CM Punk. But this segment had everything. It had heart in it. Both of them, I believe, told a little bit of the truth of how they really felt. And it was brilliant, and it finally became personal between the two, and it was exactly what WWE needed going into SummerSlam. and everybody by the only misstep I feel is having a special guest referee. I don't believe that we are going to see a true finish. I think it's going to turn into some kind of a screw job of some sort. And I think the story will continue, of course. But that's the only thing I wish they hadn't have done. The Randy Orton coming out, reminding everybody that he still has the Money in the Bank, was also like was said before, icing on the cake. And it just took the whole segment to another level as well. Great segment. I think the worst thing of the show, I can kind of see your guys' points on the Fandango R-Truth thing, and that's the problem with having a 3-hour Raw instead of 2-hour Raw, is you have to have stuff like this that just doesn't really mean anything to fill the time. But I'm gonna have to disagree and go with the Natalya Great Khali versus Biggie Langston and AJ Lee match, because of the botch. Neither of the guys really got involved. It was just the girls. I don't understand how this helped the Langston Ziggler feud. I just don't get it. I don't understand what they were trying to do here, and then the botch just kind of just made it really bad. So I think that's the worst match or segment, and my final score is a 4.0 out of 5.
Well, we want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts on Monday Night Raw this week. What was your best and worst match or segment from Monday Night Raw? We want to hear from you guys out there. You should put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video. Where can fans check you out on HWR?
Of course, they can always find me over on my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/Hardcore Wrestling Radio. And if you ever want to listen to any of our shows, head on over to Spreaker.com/HWR Media. And of course, coming up this Wednesday, we'll be joined by special guest, Hardcore Wrestling legend Axel Rotten. So be sure you catch us this Wednesday.
Lance, what can fans expect to see when they come visit your channel over on YouTube.com/LanceMossTV?
Album reviews, NASCAR reviews, wrestling reviews, and whatever else pops into my head.
He's over on the hood on Instagram. He's the Bay Area MVP known as Will. Will, what you got coming up?
What I got coming up, it's all about preseason football, and Jason would like this. I am currently watching, and I mean currently watching, TCW as we speak right now.
Awesome.
I love the organization, and I'm very honored to talk to Brian Thompson a couple weeks ago. And thanks to Brian, I'm in the TCW. But other than that, this week it's just gonna be the TCW game shows and whatever just comes up through the rest of the month.
And I do believe upcoming this week on Traditional Championship Wrestling is indeed the Big Rumble Riot match. And Jason Pitts from Traditional Championship Wrestling, what can you tell us about the Rumble Riot, the way it's structured and the way that the match works? What can fans expect to see when they see this upcoming on Friday?
It's gonna have 15 men. It starts off with two in the ring. Every minute, a third one comes in. I mean, the next one comes in until we go through all 15 guys. And the way you are eliminated is over the top rope. It's the same as the Royal Rumble rules that the WWE does, except for we got 15 guys. They have 30 and they did 40 once. But that it's the traditional Royal Rumble rules. We call it the Rumble Riot. And the winner gets $15,000 and a title shot at our current champion, Lance Hoyt.
Cool.
And
tell fans where they can check you guys out.
Show. You can follow us on Twitter at TCW News. We have our YouTube channel, which has all of our shows going back several years. If you want to catch up on TCW, all the storylines, all the characters, everything that's been going on. It's www.youtube.com/TCW Wrestling Online. And then you can also find us on Twitter. Just search, not Twitter, but Facebook. Just search TCW Wrestling or Traditional Championship Wrestling.
All right, fans, also don't forget to like the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/WGS-TV. And also don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZFXTV Network. So for the illuminous one, the shining star, Rick Starr, our resident music mogul, the incomparable Lance Moss on Lance Moss TV, the Bay Area MVP, known as Will, and our special guest from Traditional Championship Wrestling, Mr. Jason Pitts, thank you once again. I'm the WrestleGamer, Double B Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's absence of James from the Big Easy has been brought to you by James's brand new charity, Chair Shots for the Homeless.
Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Spiritual medium. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. I'm Haley. Ring Rose. Stoke answers.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual medium. Stoke answers.